Hello and welcome back to World of Warships. I had to drop the stream and restart it because something went catastrophically wrong and everything froze in the game. I'm hoping if I start another match, it won't catastrophically fail again. If it does, then I'll just end the stream, I guess. No stream for me tonight. I don't know why it works when I'm streaming and doesn't work when I'm not streaming, except maybe there's something wrong with my internet and I need to reboot my router. I was having trouble this morning with it, but I thought I cleared all that up. So I'm not sure why it has decided to catastrophically fail on me. We'll be waiting here at the waiting screen for a little bit. Oop, never mind. It kicked us right through. I wonder if it's doing that because we're tier 9 or what. But I've noticed I haven't had to wait nearly as long as when I was playing Montana earlier in the day. Maybe there's just more people online. So let's see if this loads and actually functions. I had it happen a couple of times this week already without the stream being on, so I just kind of assumed that it was a game issue and not a stream issue. But as soon as I stopped the stream, everything caught back up. Although my ship's position was horribly desynced from where it actually was on my screen, I was getting hit with torpedoes that were like a mile ahead of me, which was pretty funny. Let's give it another shot. Well, I seem to be moving. It's a good sign. Maybe it just didn't like how I was doing the stream the first time. Alright, gotta... Oh... Japanese, right? Yep, Japanese destroyer. It's the tier 9? No, it's tier 10. He must be the gunboat destroyer. You can see he's already got his engine boost going. I'm going to save mine. I usually don't need it for this mode because you don't want to be out there in the front. But since the enemy is going to be coming for our base, it would be better if I head towards the center rather than trying to flank. Hopefully Ohio's awake and not frozen like I am, or was. I always wanted to get a full division of Georgias or Ohio's and just get the secondaries going in the PvE events. It'd be pretty funny to do the operations. It's just all Georgias, like a full team of 5 with like our two Georgias and then 2 Ohio's and then a like destroyer or something. I don't know. Have to do. Can't have a full battleship division where you have, you know, the 2 battleships and then all their escorts. Well, I guess you could, right? Because there's 9 or 10. I can't remember what the numbers of operations players is, but you could do a full, like, proper American battleship division with the battleships and the escorts. Can't do a carrier strike group though. They don't like it when the carriers play together. For good reason. Got in. Those overpins. We're engaging Brailuchu. And there's no should. It's Brailudu. Can't be Brailudu. French is weird, but it's not that. Lots of silent letters. And I'm getting flanked. Gonna move on up here so I can get this island discovered. Hit. The aim assist in this game is horrible. Wish it would stop helping me. It has a really hard time doing the plunging fire. It's always short or long. not helped by the fact that these guns are apparently just too large. Yeah, take that, you see. Trying to torpedo me while I'm parked next to the island. I'm getting torn apart. Why do you need to get up here? Of course, Beckelberg is off doing who knows what. A good hit. Didn't do much damage, but it's a good hit. Well, Luxembourg actually killed something, so at least he's not totally useless all the way out there. Just wish I wasn't the center of attention here. Does engine boost help going in reverse? Come on, hit. There you go. That was a bad shot. Well, we still hit him. Just didn't do very much damage. At least they stopped shooting at me. They must be shooting at Ohio now. Both absolutely destroyed that guy. Secondaries going full tilt. Got 100 hits already almost with the secondaries. Oh, there's 100. It's coming at me with more bombers. Torpedo bombers. If you have better things to do with your life, Yorkton. Can't even hit me from that angle. Not that I'm complaining. I guess I am complaining a little bit. The AI should know you can't hit you from that angle. That's a little ridiculous that they're thinking, oh, let me go in that way. Like, no, you can't. Come on. Kill. Shh. Ricochets. I kind of figured. She's made a horrible mistake there because he doesn't have rear-facing guns, and his turrets are turned the wrong way. So all he can do is sit there and die. Now, where is Chapiv? Down my fighter, jerk. hit him from here? I think so, but may have aimed all wrong. Yeah, aimed long. I think it would be cool if they made it so you didn't lose your fighters unless they're shot down, which in this case wouldn't help me. I'd still be out of fighters, but it'd be cool if they like landed and it actually got recovered. I know that they're adding the new French submarine, which is actually a cruiser that could go underwater to get around treaty limits. It has 8-inch guns, and it has a spotter plane to make up for the fact that it has a no fire control tower. And the plane takes off. How did he get that kill? Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. We got 4 kills this time around. And the game didn't even freeze once. He says as he knocks on his synthetic wood desk. This is actually just plastic. There's a piece of fiberboard over here, whatever that's called, where they compress a bunch of wood chips into a single board. There, I knocked on it. Anyway, they're adding the animation so it takes off from the water like it would have in real life. So they should have the landing animations for the ships. They already launched from the catapults. They should just land properly instead of like, flying into the back of the ship and dissolving. And then when they add that in, they can make it so you can actually relaunch them. I guess that would be overpowered though, because then you could have the spotter plane constantly going, right? As opposed to having to wait for the cooldown, because it would land and then well, I guess it has to refuel and stuff, right? But you'd have an infinite amount of them. Which, I mean, realistically, unless your plane got shot down, you had an infinite amount of plane, right? It was the amount of time it could spend in the air was limited. I don't know. It's probably something that they'd have to look into to balance properly. But it seems like kind of silly that, like, especially with the aircraft carrier, you can only call so many patrol fighters per match. Like, you should have an unlimited number of patrol fighters that, are a limited number that's just your total, not per plane. Like, I should be able to make the radio call for the patrol fighters with no matter which plane I've got out there. Like, this is going to get rough if we're out in the open. Though Shifty seems to have other ideas. I think he's going to go straight in. So, fun fact, I was learning about these guns that Georgia has, and of course they're actual designs, which I'm sure not very many people know. And the U.S. military at the time was like, well, these aren't, the only reason that they're better than 16-inch guns is because they have extra range. Because the 16-inch super heavy shells that we had at the time were sufficient. Or, they had the same penetration capability, they just had less range. And then radar-assisted fire control didn't exist when they were developing the guns. So they chose the 16-inch over the 18-inch because of that. They already had 16-inch super heavy, and they were about the same characteristics. The one thing that World of Warships gets wrong is that these guns, they only put 2 on here. Obviously, it's an attempt to balance out the ship. But in real life, they would have been able to fit 3, because the gun systems that they had for the 18-inch guns weren't actually much smaller or much larger than the 16-inch guns that they already had in the design. And you can see it in the blueprints, if you can find a copy of the blueprints. But you can see in the blueprints that they planned to have the same number of barrels And I think maybe the spacing would have been slightly bigger. But that was more to deal with the recoil. Ooh, that was a solid hit. The AI seems to be following the YOLO strategy here, where they're just going to rush straight at us and get picked apart. Don't even have torpedoes. I don't think Yumahari has torpedoes. Does Yumahari have torpedoes? No torpedoes there. Three overbends. Come on. Should have gotten another hit just like the last one. Oh, he got the hit like that. I did on the other one. Now we should be able to tear Nebraska apart here. I don't even think she has 32-inch forward deck plating. I think it's forward bow plating. I think it's 27. I don't know what U.R. Army's plates are. But she's a battle cruiser, so I would think she's lighter than me. Come on, that was a Citadel, and you know it, game. Maybe this one will give me Citadel, but I doubt it. Nope. Twitchy hand. Somebody dropped a bunch of bombs right on top of where we were. Alright, time to loop around and cut off the attack that we're chasing after Yamato there. We'll Monarch right to better target. Come on, guns. And that's a miss. That's gonna hurt. Oh, okay. The mountain saved me. Good old litho armor. Turn those engines. Or rudders, or whatever it is that makes the ship turn. Although it doesn't look like Yamato needed our help. Yamato? One of these days I'll learn how to pronounce these ships' names. I think I would know Yamato because it's like, you know, super famous as the largest battleship ever built. But I do well just remember my own name sometimes, okay? Not a single Citadel, 4 overpins. Game is annoying. Wonder if we should wait for Moggy to come through their gap. I think Shifty can take it, right? He's got torpedoes. Moggy does not have torpedoes. I think I'll just keep going on my way. And he can torpedo. Or he can fire torpedoes at nothing? Oh, what he's doing. Maybe I'll get an angle on here as I drive by. No, generally not. The mountains are in the way. Yeah. Okay, he did meet us, see? unleash my full speed by cruising in a straight line while running engine boosts and being undetected. I think I can get up to something like 44.3 knots or something like that. Portrait goes boom. The laws of physics need not apply.
Torpedoes to starboard.
And it probably would have been able to hit that Auckland if Laffy hadn't been running his smoke, but looks like Shifty's gonna kill him. We can come around this corner and find our friend Vintito. Yep. Shifty got him. I wonder if Vintino, he might survive on us here. Because the clock is going to run. Or not the clock, the point. We're going to earn enough points before we kill him. Unless Laffy's torpedoes all hit. I'm thinking Laffy's torpedoes are going to hit. Nope, that's a miss. Oh, look at that. We stole the kill. Whoops. We didn't mean to do that, Laffy. Sorry. I was just trying to help. I helped a little too hard. They're adding in assist ribbons now, so then you don't have to feel so bad about stealing the kills. Based on like how much damage you've done, or if you spotted the enemy, or things like that. More coal than all the coal containers. Alright, wonder, there's probably no missions left to do, really. I think I finished them all. Except for ranked battle stuff. But I tried ranked battle once, I did horribly, and never again. I'll probably go back to it. I just had some really bad teammates, and I was like, alright, this is too frustrating. But, there was one teammate. Look, why is it random? Random battles. Go back to operations. Operations. Asymmetric battles. I wonder why I did that. Must be because I clicked on combat missions. I tried to change it to a mission that would actually get me things. I don't know. But anyway, I had one awful teammate. So we're on this other side of this island, right? And the enemy uses hydrophone, and I know the enemies can detect him because I'm closer to them than him, and I'm in a battleship. And his response is to smoke. So now they can see us with the hydrophone, but I can't see them because I'm covered in smoke, and he's covered in smoke, and he was a destroyer. It was like, dude, don't hide behind the battleship, and don't smoke when you're hiding behind the battleship. And so I just kind of like sat there and got picked apart because there was nothing I could do because I couldn't see. And everybody on my team was already... you know, it was like a small team. I don't remember what it was exactly. It was like 4v4 or something. And everybody on my team was already elsewhere, so they couldn't spot for me. And my destroyer, who should have been the one spotting, was busy hiding. Well, I couldn't see. And I was just like, okay, this is not. This is what I have to deal with when I'm doing the low-end seating to figure out where I'm supposed to be. I'm never going to get seated anywhere higher than the lowest rank. It's a pretty green color. Too bad it's on the imaginary Russian ship. It's completely impossible, but that's never stopped wargaming before. Somebody doodled this on the back of a napkin, therefore we can build it in our game. That's realistic. It's like, well, they never got to the part where they realized all these flaws and stuff with their design. Of course, I can't say anything because I'm using a magical Iowa with 18-inch guns, but at least they built Iowas and they built 18-inch guns. This was just a drawing somebody had on some paper before Stalin died. And then when Stalin died, they threw it all out because they knew it would never happen. It was mostly to keep Stalin happy, which is something you had to do a lot if you wanted to continue living in Soviet Russia. Not to get political. Although I think Stalin bad is probably not a controversial political take but it shouldn't be in 2025. But you never know. Oh, we got Hilbrand, the German carrier cruiser hybrid concept. Another horribly unrealistic thing. Although people like to call the Graf Spee dumb because it had 6-inch guns, I felt like the Graf Spee's design was practical for the 1920s, 1930s when it was, designed. Because you didn't have radar and stuff, so at night you get ambushed. The British actually lost one of their aircraft carriers to a night ambush like that in the early days of World War II. Although some of the blame there goes on the captain because he was running with full lights in the middle of the night past the French coast when he knew the French had, not the French, the Germans had battle cruisers stationed along the coast. And so the battle cruisers spotted him really easily and then just tore him apart. And of course, since it was night, they didn't have planes out, so the planes wouldn't spot it. Even if they had, the planes wouldn't spot anything. So it was just a bad time. And I don't know if Graf Spee's been in the situation and been ambushed by 2 battle cruisers, if she would have done any better. But if she'd been ambushed by destroyers, she would have had a fighting chance for sure. Graf Spee, that is. I think it was Glorious that sank. She would have been sunk regardless. She only had 2 destroyers escorting her, so the whole flotilla of German destroyers that ran up on her, she would have been done for. I should have gone for Amplify because Citadel did. Although the way my bluff works, it would have just overpinned. Oh dear, that torpedo's gonna miss, right? Torpedo's gonna miss. Oh, shot it. Amplifleet? Amplifleet, there's no P. Almost shot it, the Italian cruiser because I had a good shot at him earlier, but now I had a good shot at the Russian cruiser, and you need to stick with the Russian cruiser. And Siberia is on the wrong side of that island. He's not going to be much help. Whoop, can't get torpedoed by the boats. So Raichulu. It's Richulu, not Raichulu, but I'm not French. Well, that's not true. Some distant part of my ancestry has probably got French in it. Because I'm from Louisiana as far as I've been able to trace my history. Also, the game is too loud again. It's always too loud. Let me turn that down. Just a touchdown. It peaks when I fire occasionally, I guess. Got a good team at least. They're all on the same division and the same clan. I really ought to find a clan to play with instead of sitting here talking to myself. That hurt. Where are they shooting me from? All the way over there, I guess. Yes, we should shoot the North Carolina that's slowly sailing broadside to you, Siberia. That is exactly what we should do. I want to know why you're not doing it. Why you're telling me to do it. You're doing it yourself. Oh, there he goes. He actually shot something. I know I shouldn't say anything. He probably has as many kills as I do. No, he only has the 1. And of course, the French guy, is again facing away from me with all his turrets facing forward, so he has no way to shoot me. Great strategy, bot. Oh, he's turning them. He might get some shots off. I thought we lost Mecklenburg there for a second, but no, he thinks somebody with fire. Yeah, I'm not doing my best. I got greedy with going around the island there and trying to take out as many ships as I could. I did a lot more damage than I should have. Nope, again, he's turned all the way away from me. So he can't shoot me at all. I don't know what gets into the bots' heads there. Maybe they're just trying to get distance because they know you don't want to be next to Georgia. Well, he's getting his guns around. Maybe he can shoot from this angle. I don't think so, though. Well, at least he's out of Siberia's range, I suppose. He's got that island to hide behind. Three overpins when I'm hitting his superstructure. And that's going to be a miss. I thought he was turning. Oh, nope. Hit his superstructure with plunging fire, and that's somehow an overpin. Like, it went all the way through the tower, all the way down inside the ship, and all the way out the bottom. I'm not sure, Wargaming. Whatever story you want to tell. If it was like a cruiser or something, okay, but not full-on battleship like that. I'm not going to pin that far through it. The point you can see the bottom of the ocean from the top of the ship, through the ship. See, there we go. That's what hits are supposed to look like. Come on. Turn. I'm sure I'll be fine. Siberia's gonna steal my kill, though. Oh, nope. There we go. 4 kills. Not a record setting by any means, but it's pretty good. Come on, shoot them all down. Let them hit us. Half rations for the anti-air crews. They did bad. They should have shot those guys down. Well, half rations for the ones that didn't get horribly mangled in the rocket strike. I suspect most of them probably don't have legs anymore. We'll let those guys eat full. They can have. They don't have legs. They can still eat. Anybody without legs is allowed to eat the canteen still. That's gonna get me canceled. Oh, how are we looking on? Said I needed to do more of these. Oh, I already put it on. Okay. What we got on? Can I level you up with? Nope, not yet. And I don't want to use my gold stars anyway. I want to use those. I'm working on getting Ohio. So farming gold stars and then just resetting the Japanese cruiser line when I get enough gold stars. And it's got the 2x bonus until I get to the point where I can just play through the whole line and get Ohio immediately. Probably isn't the most efficient way to do it, but it saves me from having to actually play the Japanese cruisers for now. Alright, so I know this map, and last time I played, the whole enemy armada came up the center, and like half my guys, well, all of my guys except for one, no, all of them. I was thinking all of them went around to try to attack. And all the enemies came up the middle and we lost. Because it was only me in the middle. And, I'll probably end up doing that same thing again. Or maybe they'll be smarter enough to pay attention to the map and realize what's going on. We got Shikishima, that's the He's got 20-inch guns. Makes my 18-inch guns feel inadequate. I know. 18 is enough to penetrate most armors, just not overmatch. Most of my damage comes from the secondary battery, although I prefer to build up my reload speed as much as possible and get heavy hits with the main battery, and then use the secondary battery kind of like just the radius that I need to fight within. So I know that way I know where I should be shooting at the enemy at. It's inside the yellow ring. Because too much further out of that, you get to the plunging fire, which is horribly ineffective in this game. Although in reality, that was what would have, if battleships engaged each other in World War II. And by battleships, I mean like the Iowas and the Yamatos, not the little smaller guys. But the plunging fire would have been a huge problem for the standard battleships because they had really light deck armor. Because fire control wasn't that good when they were built, and they didn't have to worry about getting hit by plunging fire unless it was like a really lucky shot. It looks like Small Snake and Laffy are going to just go down the middle. It wasn't really my intention. It was more set up an ambush here, but you know what? Then I admire him. And there comes the fight. I'm wondering if I should switch to HE. There goes that 20-inch gun. Love that sound. Well, seems like they got Osborne pretty good. And it doesn't look like there's anybody else coming up the center. Because if there was... oh, there's somebody else coming. I was gonna say he used hydrophone so he would see them.
Torpedoes, direct front.
Oh, hello, Shikishima. You want to go up the middle too? You should probably let me go first, but I will let you go first.
Ship is on fire.
It's a pretty blue. Wonder if that's the default camo? It has to be the default premium camo. Looks like Monarch was considering going up the center and realized he probably doesn't want to do that. Well, I think they've got the center covered. I'll do a reverse deal with Stampy here. Is it a K or a? It's Skane. It's probably pretty close to Snake, I'm thinking. Don't know these Nordic words. He's Nordic. Oh yeah, he's Nordic. My headphones in backwards, so I was wondering if the sound was coming from the wrong direction. Fix that. I wish I gotta get a pair of headphones that are red in one ear and blue in the other or something, so that way I know which ear is supposed to be which ear. They have these tiny little R and L's engraved on them, and it's like I can't see any of that. Also, I'm gonna get like no points for this round because I'm gonna go down the middle, and everybody was going to go down the middle. Well, I wasn't gonna go down the middle. I was gonna ambush them. But I think we'll probably end up getting... Is he stuck on the island? Please tell me the bot's not just sitting on the island, like I can't move. I've forgotten how to go. Oh, there he is. Right. Provided we don't get torpedoed here, we can take this guy. Yep, he's already missed those. Whoops. Those are he hasn't missed. Got that guy. Now let's get him on up. We way oversteered that. Come on, fit through there. I know you can fit through there. There we go. Now, in real life, there is absolutely no way a battleship the size of Georgia is fitting through this little spot here. But there's also no way one's fitting up that crack between the two islands either, so we'll let it have a pass. Because of fun. Really? No citadels on that. It's annoying. I wasn't fast enough to disable the turret, but didn't seem to have done any damage, so. These secondary hits are not doing anything. They're all hitting the armored belt. Ah! Disabled the turret again. Nope, he used damage repair party. Let's see, hopefully I can outspeed his turret turn rate. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't go to the center there. Of course, it's all over pins. No, he didn't overpin. He didn't, only got one pin. But it was in my rear end. Come on, no overpins. Citadels only. Oh, come on. Yeah, that wasn't gonna penetrate. Better off paying for my superstructure with that kind of angle. Yeah, 6 penetrations. That's what we wanted. Guy's gonna steal my kill. Yep. Oh, no, I got it. Yeah, I see why they took Georgia out of the game. Just need 3 more points, and then I can get this, and then I think that's maximize the reload speed. That the skill there, Adrenaline Rush, does better reload and other characteristics the more damage you take, which makes 0 sense. It should be the opposite way, where you do better, you perform better when you're not damaged. But nobody tell Wargaming that. But it makes 0 sense for a battleship to be better performing when it's shot full of holes. Like, you would think there would be a performance degradation, right? one of my major complaints about Star Trek Online was the ship doesn't feel like it's falling apart around you. It was one of the major things that I liked about the spiritual success or predecessors, Starfleet Command series, where your ship would, as you took damage, things would start failing and stuff like that would go offline. Like you'd lose a phaser bank, so you'd have to make sure to keep the enemy on one side, things like that. And that was like felt real, like realistic, like how starships would behave. Oh, this is an interesting dilemma. Yamato seems to be turning in, so I will go in and go with the Bravo here too. Normally I'd make a mad dash along the 2 line and get inside A, but I don't want to try to do that if Yamato is going to be going for B. And I have no cover. So he could probably take down a whole cruiser or two if I was spotting for him, but we'll go this way instead. I'm going to go a bit wide so he can get the island if he wants it. Now it's time to redo boost, I think. I do love how when you hit the engine boost, it makes the smoke thicker and blacker. Like you're burning more. Would be interesting if they added a engine boost mechanic that you can overheat your engines, and like they start, you start losing performance if you do it too long. But if you just do it in bursts and then let them cool down, since their new thing seems to be timers, like they have with Sibir and the New American line, where you have smoke is on a timer instead of just an on-off switch. Although it's so poorly implemented because you can't turn it on and off real quick. Although maybe that's just lappy that you can't turn it on and off real quick. I haven't tested the actual tech tree lines yet. There goes Yamato's guns. Go on, spank him. There he goes. Took a second for it to register, I guess. That should be a finishing blow. Or it's all over pins. I hate when you hit about the same angle and half your shot's overpinned and the other half ricochet. It's like, it's got to be one or the other. You can't have all ricochet or half ricochet and half overpin. It either penetrated or it didn't penetrate. Right? Like, oh. That torpedo made a hit. Got C10. Heroes running away, which is weird. Over here taking all the hits, as usual. Yeah. Should I aim higher for his superstructure there? Okay, now we aim for the bell. Come on. Shh, only 2 penetrations. Yeah, I knew those were coming. Alright, that'll be a kill. Thank you. He reloaded his torpedoes before I could get him. That's gonna hurt. 4 overpins right on his citadel, yeah. Sure, wargaming. You do that. course, he Citadels me. Because why would his guns not, his 14-inch guns not Citadel? Right, on to the next battle. No sense in dwelling in that. Just they popped up the little survey. How satisfied are you with this battle? I'm gonna put very unsatisfied. Learn how to do math. Like, am I crazy? Am I crazy for thinking that it should not equal, like, be split between overpin and ricochet? That it should just be all ricochet or all overpin if it's not gonna, like, if it's not gonna penetrate, it's not gonna penetrate. But it shouldn't over penetrate and then under penetrate. Like, what happened here? It should be equal, right? Got Gumboat over there. Got Hindenburg and Lucian and Prince Rupert. I think that's probably how you say that, right? Rupert shit. Rupert in English. Rupert shit in German, I suppose. Probably people are gonna uncover these videos when I'm famous, and it's gonna get me canceled just because I can't pronounce the names of things, so they think I'll be racist. It's like, no, honestly, I just don't know any words. I barely speak English. Please don't cancel me for that. And yes, English is my first language. And my only language. And I barely speak it. Just didn't spend a lot of my childhood talking to people, I guess. Although, I read somewhere in a book that extroverted people make more money than introverted people, so I was like, oh, well, I guess I better learn to become an extrovert then. I hated every minute of it, but I always tried to be the, one out front. Of course, it turns out it doesn't matter because the way you get the most paying jobs is have everybody like you, as opposed to being the best. So you end up with bosses who have no idea how to run anything, but somebody liked them at one point in their career, so they got a promotion. Joke's on them, though. They have all the responsibility, and I still get paid more than they do. Oh, that went bad? No, sorry, you're the boss. It's your fault it went bad. Not that stopped them from trying to blame me for their own stupidity. Spend a 3-year period telling somebody they need to do something, and then they wait till 2 weeks after the due date to start trying to do it. And it's like, no, you're 3 years too late. You should have started this 3 years ago. Well, yeah, but I need you to stay until it gets done. Should have just said no. Would have learned a lot faster. Instead, I found another job, and then they failed. Didn't have anybody else to blame it on because there wasn't anybody left. Haven't helped us. Poor leaders take responsibility for poor leadership decisions. I thought I had 3 years to get started on that project. You did have 3 years. You waited all of them. Okay, talk about the game. We are in trouble out here. We went too far out. At least there's only one destroyer somewhere around here, so... Yeah, that's a good hit. Didn't know the Dutch cruisers got spotter. Didn't think mine had spotters. Maybe he does, and I just never use my Dutch cruiser. Finish that guy off with that hit. Or we'll get overpins and ricochets instead. Come on. Secondaries do work. Yeah, there we go. Our main guns are useless, apparently. If we can citadel this guy. I bet not. Ah, you missed, torpedoes. Take that. Come on, Citadel. Look at that football. Well, at least when they ricocheted, it didn't also get an overpin. That guy just kind of straight at us. I think I might be able to get one more shot at this guy before he gets behind that island. But he's also turning, so go for a superstructure hit, I guess. Yeah, not bad. Not to get mad that my secondaries weren't starting Hill on fire, but his secondary started B on fire. But they caught on fire just as I was about to comment that it was kind of dumb. Repair party going. And mostly hit water. You know what? Let's just get in there. Full speed ahead. Our other flank is not doing so hot. So. Let's get turned so we can get our rear gun on this guy. The South American cruiser came back. Our battleship came back. Should have targeted him. Oh well, we'll finish Bismarck off here soon, I think. Maybe. Where their one destroyer is. Come on. We definitely can't afford to lose our main turret. Guess I'll have to pop repair party for that. Our damage control party. Ooh, hiccups. Come on, killing it. Thank you. Reload, reload. Probably before that second South American battleship comes around that corner and kills us. Come on. Here we go again. We're gonna get Citadel the same way we did last round. Oh, maybe we'll get torpedoed instead. Okay. I accept my fate. Being just sat back and watched. Alright, one more battle. Then I'm gonna call it. Getting grumpy at the game. Random number generator does not like Georgia. Like when you get good hits, enemies disintegrate, but way too often it's like, oh well, we decided that hit actually over-penetrated. It's like, you should not get it. I mean, the idea that you can over-penetrate a battleship by shooting it in the armored belt. Like, what am I firing? Like, that's kind of, like, Iowa, which would be the tier 9, so one tier higher than those, but had a 12-foot armor belt. You're telling me that shell punched through 12 feet, through the interior of the ship, and then out, or not 12 feet, 12 inches, but you're telling me that shell punched through 12 inches of armor, through all of the machinery spaces, and then through the 12-inch thing on the outside, and never armed. That whole trip. That's just silly wargaming. Like, I get it if I was shooting, like, something that was like 3 tiers lower than me. But it happens so often it's even on the same tier ship. That it's just like goes right through. And it's like, you're telling me it didn't hit any machinery when it went through that. It didn't hit anything. It didn't detonate on the other side, on the other armor belt or anything. It just kept going. Like, man, they wanted missiles to do that. We need missiles to do that kind of penetration power. Like the bunker buster things, Like, they had the Japanese at the end of the war had like warheads that would go through like 18 feet of thick steel and come out the other side. But those weren't battleship shells. They were like dedicated, like the kamikaze aircraft. They had them like a whole aircraft. It was basically just a missile. Those things would mess you up, but they would, you know, shoot a jet of molten copper through the hole they made. So it wasn't like over penetration was something that mattered. But the idea that these 18-inch shells are capable of penetrating through an entire battleship and out the other side. I guess maybe at extreme close ranges like we were fighting at, but still, it seems ridiculous. Oh hey, there's another Georgia. I was Tuesday ranting and I didn't even notice. He's all the way on the other side though. Maybe tomorrow I'll play submarine. Oh, here comes a hit. Hi, Bismarck. Oh, we got a destroyer right there. I guess I should have looked at the team composition and realized there were 4 destroyers. And of course, ricochets. But I'll complain less about the ricochets. The overpins are what bug me. Well, I'm about to get torpedoed.
Ship is on fire.
Come on, get those engines in reverse. Watch these all be penetration hits. No, okay. There's the other destroyer. Of course, I've got 2 on my flank. Short. I say that like my gunnery crew can hear me. I am the gunnery crew, and I can hear myself, I suppose. Okay, come on, Austin. Start killing destroyers. That's what you're here for. Yeah. The rock got in the way. I'm getting torn up. Well, those torpedoes missed wildly, at least. What is Austin doing? Shoot, guys, way over there. Okay. Guess I won't shoot anything because I can't see anything. At least they can't see me, too. Maybe I'll put a fighter up, it will see something. There we go. Well, hitting overpins at least, I guess. Does some damage. It's parked, so I should be able to hit him. So good shot. Seems like 1 out of every 2 shot or 3 shots is no 1 out of every 2. 1 out of every 2 shots is a overpin. which is not great. Of course, I'm getting picked apart by the destroyers that Austin is too busy shooting across the map to deal with. Like, there's easy kills right in front of you, Austin. You just have to point your guns that direction and hold down the button. Stuff all my hills already. I've tanked over 1 million damage. I wonder, does that count the torpedoes? It must count the torpedoes, right? That are fired at me and miss. Oh, you're about to have a bad day, brother. Yeah, there we go. Austin's woke up. He's paying attention to the right fight now. Gosh darn it. Alright, we're not ending on that one. Oh, I guess I am ending on that one. It kicked me out. I must hit yes instead of battle. Well, at least we won all of these. We haven't exactly won them gracefully, but we've won, except for the very first one, which I think I wasn't even streaming yet, so pretend that didn't happen. I just won them all. Yep. Clicked on the wrong thing there. Alright. Well, I think... Yeah, it's 9 o'clock. I think I'm going to call it. We managed to level up Dusty Roads twice today, I think. So, got to get it up 3 more times and then we'll be able to finish the build. So, then I'll have my Georgia back to spec. I had a commander on there that was fully built out, but it was Enterprise, and I got Enterprise. Well, I had to put Enterprise on Enterprise. I couldn't put her on Georgia. So, alright, ending the stream.